All right, so today I want to talk about why most internet marketers get stuck at a certain phase. So first, I think it's really important to define what internet marketers are. So you have internet marketers, you have growth marketers, you have digital marketers. To me, an internet marketer, and by the way, I've grown up learning from the best internet marketers, affiliate marketers, growth hackers, whatever you want to call it. I've kind of played in the internet marketing world. I've looked at what black hat SEOs do. I've worked in tech, right? So I know how the tech marketers or the growth marketers behave. And so you have the spectrum, right? So I guess it's good for us to define first. So an internet marketer, to me, a lot of internet marketers are usually they're pushing info products. And I kind of put them in the same basket as affiliate marketers as well, where they're looking at pushing a lot of different offers, and their job is to drive as much performance as possible. And they're not too worried about brand as much. So if you look at the spectrum over here, if there's a brand spectrum and there is a performance spectrum, they're almost all over on the performance side of things, right? They just want to drive conversions, and if they're able to drive conversions, they get paid. And that's how a lot of these marketers work. And so typically what happens is, in the internet marketing world, people are much more money focused. They're very money hungry, and some of the best marketing books that I've read, these people are very money hungry, and that's the KPI that they go for. Now, I think what ends up happening is I see a lot of people that they start out very strong, and what happens is their business caps out because they've focused so much on making money that they haven't thought beyond that, right? They haven't thought beyond what it takes to scale a business, the other elements of a business, not just around being really good around marketing. Sure, you can be really good at that, but how do you go beyond that, right? So I think when you think about growth marketers, when I think about the tech marketers that I know, a lot are really good at demand generation. And when I think about demand generation, usually that means they're good at paid advertising, right? So they know how to run ads, and sometimes they might have other skills, but what ends up happening is they need to hire a bunch of other specialists. So imagine there's a marketer working at Salesforce, then there's like an entire team that's dedicated to that, and they might not necessarily know all the tactics and the strategies that internet marketers are testing. Because internet marketers, by the way, because you're trying to drive performance, you are testing cutting edge stuff, right? You're testing also at the same time. You don't care too much about the user experience, right? You're not incentivized to care about that. All you care about is, hey, if I need to have a bunch of pop-ups, if I need to have order for bumps and all these things, right? I'm gonna take it as aggressive as I can, and we'll see what happens. Now on the other side of things, if you're a brand marketer, you don't do those things, right? Your performance is gonna suffer quite a bit, but you're focused on your perception might be, hey, because I'm doing brand marketing, I'm gonna focus on the long term. And because I am focused on the long term, again, my ads are not going to be too aggressive. I'm not going to try all these other, order form bumps or one-time offers or all these other things. I'm just going to play on that side, right? Now, I actually think, order form bumps, exit pop-ups, those types of things, I think there is a time and place for those. I think you might want to have maybe a healthy balance of them. But what I'm talking about right now is, again, why is it that a lot of internet marketers end up capping out? They stay doing what they're doing. They're pushing, affiliate things. They're always looking for the next offer. And by the way, some affiliates make a ton of money, right? Now, the other thing too is they're selling info products. Info products will tend to, cap out at a certain point. Or if they try to create software, what ends up happening is the software usually doesn't go that well. Their churn rates are too high. And so what I'm getting at right now is that if you think more like the best CEOs in the world, the number one thing the best CEOs all obsess over is culture. Why do they obsess over culture? It's because the things that make a good company great, it's the people. And so if you're constantly harping about money, right, what ends up happening is you are incentivized to, not think about, hey, let's invest more in people. Because if you're thinking too much about money and profits going into your pocket, it's like, I don't want to pay top dollar, okay? I am not trying to recruit too many people, which is fine. If you want to optimize for money, that's fine, right? But if you want to go even beyond, instead of going, you want to go beyond 7 figures or so, 8 figures or so, you have to obsess over culture, right? Because you understand that culture is the operating system and people make a company go. And so the biggest companies are going to invest in the best people. They don't mind paying top dollar. Okay, they don't mind paying the recruiting fees as well, because they know once they get it's all about the team at the end of the day. It's not about one marketer knowing all the tactics. That caps out very quickly. How do you build leverage? One of the highest leverage things you can do in a company is to hire amazing people, right? So, if you are right now, you're wondering, hey, like, why am I capping out right now? It's like, do you have a great culture? Do you have great people? Would you rehire a good amount of the people on your staff? You look at every single person on your staff right now. Would you rehire each and every one of them? Are they following all the things that you think might be, that I used to think were rah-rah, like culture, core values, people, recruiting, and all these things. Like, I just want to do marketing. I'm going to be able to, build a good lifestyle for myself. You can totally do that. But if you're wondering why a lot of people cap out, that's the thing. They don't think about, oftentimes it's short-term rewards that sacrifice the long-term gain, right? Often you look at Jeff Bezos, Amazon. What happened? Well, over the years, people were like, this is not a real business. It doesn't drive that much profit, blah, blah, blah. Jeff Bezos kept repumping everything back into the business. When after the .com bust, when when Amazon as a books business, because that's the majority of what they sold, when that was in jeopardy, Jeff Bezos was like, okay, let's invest into AWS, let's build a Kindle. Most people are looking at him like, what are you doing, right? But to be able to take these shots, you have to think about the long-term vision, right? You think about the people, you think about recruiting, and then you're able to build a very substantial business at that point. Because if you don't think about all that, then you aren't going to build the right foundation. You're just going to have this foundation where you're good at marketing, but that's all you're good at. And again, people might come to you for some consulting work or whatever, or maybe you might get a good deal here and there. And, I think you'll make some good money. But if you optimize for the long term, if you optimize for the impact instead of, hey, I want money, the money will flow. It's just a side thing that happens, right? It's just it's a result of the work that you put in trying to make an impact. You look at Jeff Bezos right now. You think he cares a lot about making money? If all he cared about was making money, he would have stayed at, I believe he was working at a hedge fund before he decided to go out and start Amazon. But look, does he need to do a space company? Does he need to have AWS? Does he need to have Amazon Prime? Does he need to have third-party sales? Does he need to have Alexa? All these things. This is all to make a bigger impact on the world, and everything else falls into place, right? And you just continue to play the game, you enjoy the journey, and that's what it is. But I can guarantee you, at least for me, so I'm guaranteeing for me, I guess, back in the day when I was like, oh, I just needed, I was focused on money, I just like, hey, like, how do I make the most for myself? The problem with that is, just like the days when I used to play a lot of poker, you're focused on yourself, and that caps out at a certain point. It changes your behavior, to me, for the worse, right? Because you're focused on the short term, you're not focused on long term. So it's much easier for you to just flip your mindset and be like, hey, I'm going to focus on impact, I'm going to focus on the long term, and that will drive the correct behaviors. Charlie Munger said this: show me the incentives and I will show you the outcome, right? So if your incentive is all about money, that's your outcome. Okay, your outcome's not going to be the best, okay? Maybe it could be, go work for Wall Street, maybe. If your incentive is to make as big as an impact that you can make, look at the outcome, right? Outcome is you're probably going to have more money as a result of doing that, all right? So anyway, I don't want to keep being a dead horse here, but if you enjoy this, don't forget to hit the subscribe and the like button because it helps us grow, all right? And if you're coming from podcasts, leave a review, leave a comment as well, and we will see you later.